Good morning, fellow Americans. This is Jeff Harrington. I live on Madison, Tennessee. It is the 21st of October, 2024. We have an election coming up in a couple of weeks. I wanted to make a short video and just remind people and inform people that our choices have consequences. Okay? I'm not here in any way trying to tell you who to vote for or what to vote for or anything like that, because I wouldn't accept that from anyone either. But what I would like to say is that in, I'll say, recent decades, because I'm 61 years old, or young as they say, and I have noticed that we have skewed off into this area where there seems to be, well, the idea is that there's no rules and there's no boundaries, and we can pick and choose which bathroom to go to depending on how we feel today and all that other nonsense. But I'd like to share with you that there's nothing wrong with rules. There's never been anything wrong with rules. Rules are actually a vital part of society. Now, what isn't acceptable are ridiculous rules, or laws as they call them. Laws that make no sense. Laws that are meant just to cause you to stumble so somebody can charge you money. Okay? Nobody likes anything like that. And there are rules and things that are like that. But what I want to tell you is that we have been taught by primarily the Democratic Party that number one, that they give a shit about us, and they don't. They don't even give a shit about themselves. Okay? Seriously. I'm not saying there aren't any in that league that, don't care about something meaningful. I'm saying that just pay attention, okay? You don't have to pay attention to me. Pay attention to them, all right? Now, am I trying to say that the Republicans are a wonderful group? No, they're a bunch of buttholes, too. Right now, they're just shining a little bit better because the Democratic Party has made such an ass of itself in recent decades. I mean, they've always made asses of themselves, but they don't really try to hide it anymore. They just throw it out there almost like a screw you, America kind of thing. So I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but and I mean, as soon as we swing back to being more conservative, which is what happens, okay, that's the way society works. It swings liberal, and then everybody realizes that's not the best place to be, so then it swings conservative, and then it gets too conservative, and then everybody goes, well, this is crazy, I need some more freedom, and then it goes the other way. Okay? That's a normal cycle that we go through. But here's what I'd like to say about that. As soon as we swing back towards the conservative side, then the Republicans and those that mimic them will go right back to being their usual jackass selves. Okay, so I'm not in any way trying to imply here that I'm a Republican or a Democrat or anything else. I do not participate or subscribe to any of that crap. But with that said, I do acknowledge that there are influences that these groups have upon our lives. So with that said, um, I am no more a Trumpster than anybody else out there that sees this nonsense for what it is. Okay, now if I were at the voting booth right now, I can tell you right now, there's not a snowball's chance in hell I would vote for any Democrat. Period. End of discussion. I mean, it's that they have made that big of an ass of themselves. They're unreasonable, they're ridiculous, and they train people to be confused, okay? And if you don't recognize that, it's because you're one of the confused, believe me. And I'm not saying that in a pejorative manner. I'm saying that because you need to wake up, okay, and realize that you're being manipulated by this group. I mean, I think you're being manipulated by all groups, but such is life. I don't think it's ever been any different since the first caveman bashed in the head of another caveman and took his pterodactyl wing. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. It's just human nature, man. But here's what I'd like to say. While the people don't actually vote for the president, what we do is we vote, and they use the popular vote as I guess, a thermometer, a measuring stick for what the people seem to be wanting. And then that's supposed to influence the Electoral College, who actually elects the president. Now, you really ought to learn about how that works. I've read about it in the past. I don't know if I 100% agree with it, but this idea of having us once removed from the election process helps to keep this from being a democracy. And I know somebody's going, what do you mean keeps it from being a democracy? Our country is a republic. Washington, D.C. is the only democracy around here. And that is a nation unto itself. Okay? It's not one of the states. So, our country is a republic. Read your Constitution. In order for a state to join the Union, they have to be a Republican form of government. And that doesn't mean like Republican, like the Republican Party. That means it has certain attributes to it. And part of those attributes are that we, the people, are in charge. We can adjust the system or abolish it as need be to, put into place a system that is meant and is for caring for us, okay? Not like welfare care for us, I mean protection, okay? A democracy is just what it's always been. It's mob rule. You can have a bunch of numbskulls, that aren't old enough to understand which way to put their underwear on in a voting booth, electing somebody that promises and never delivers, okay, to give them more than the next liar, okay? And I'm making this video, my brothers and sisters, because I want you to understand something. While we don't directly vote for the president, we do have influence. And if you go into this thinking only about yourself and your needs and what are they going to give me, and the Democrats are over here talking about forgiving people's what do you call it, the loans, college loans, and it's like That stuff is ridiculous in the first place, but the truth of the matter is, you're the one that signed up for it. Okay? Now, I'm sure you were encouraged to do it by others, and maybe you didn't fully understand what you were getting yourself into, but the truth of the matter is, you're the one that put your signature to that paper accepting those payouts so that you could go to college. And again, I think it's a big farce, and I think they way overcharge, and I think that people are not trained on how to properly use that system so that they don't get in over their head. But the truth of the matter is, you're the one who put your signature to the paper and accepted those payments. So you're responsible for that. Now, do I think that the system should be revamped, maybe restructured so that it's a little easier for you to pay it off and it doesn't keep you in the poorhouse for 40 years? Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to vote for somebody that promises and will hopefully follow through and adjust the system so that you can pay it off. Because if you don't pay it off and it's just forgiven, then that just reduces the value of whatever crap you got. Okay? And all that does is shift the burden over to other people. It doesn't actually go away. It can't go away. It's a debt. Okay? The only way to extinguish that is to pay it off. And somebody, if these folks forgive you for your debt, then it doesn't go away, folks. It just puts it on other people to pay it off for you. So if you're going to be a viable part of this society, you have to think, okay? You have to use your brain, and you have to realize, are my decisions right now, today, this week, this month, this year, are my decisions hurting other people? Am I being disingenuous? Am I being careless? Am I thinking only of myself? Or am I thinking about how my decisions affect those around me? And I know from experience, personal experience, that there are so many people out here and they don't care about anything. It doesn't even appear that they care for themselves. You know why? Because they've grown up with no rules, or next to no rules. And they're under the impression that no one is allowed to regulate them and stuff like that. And what happens when you grow up in a society like that is you can't be made happy. Nothing makes you happy. Think about it. We live in a world right now where if whatever it is you're interested in isn't a 15 on a scale of 1 to 10, it's boring. Okay? It is. It's boring. It's boring. It's uninspiring. It doesn't do anything for you. You know why? Because you're so used to living in this frazzled state where you watch a show and it's not any fun if they aren't blowing up the Empire State Building, and the Earth is getting knocked off of its kilter by asteroids, or aliens are blowing up the world and killing everybody, and there's only 20 people left in the world, and they finally figure out how to take them out, and everything's about shoot 'em up, and getting on some kind of a machine like a super boat or a super motorcycle or a dragster or something, and going as fast as you can possibly go, wide open throttle on everything. And it's like everything else is just boring. It's the music industry. They don't even play good music anymore. And I'm not saying they don't play good music because it's not appealing to me. I say it's not good music because it's crap. There's no creativity to it. You very, very seldom do we ever hear any music these days that really has that's inspiring. Something you listen to it and you go, wow, how can they say it that well? Or how can they choreograph the instruments together and make such a beautiful sound like that. See, that's something that used to go on in the old days. In my day, when you listen to the radio, there was plenty of songs that were just like, that's kind of funky. But when you listen to it, sorry, when you listen to it, if you pay attention, you go, wow, I don't really like the song, but that's really creative how they did that chord progression or something like that. You don't see very much of that anymore, I'm sorry to say. So I've said all this to say this. If you're going to participate in the voting system, please, for the love of God, man, don't just, help your country. Help yourself, okay? Think. Now, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I would like to say this in closing. I've listened to Kamala Harris, or Kamala, or however you say her name. And I'm sorry, man, but she is full of shit. Okay? She is lying. Okay? She is running her mouth just like Democrats always do. Well, I shouldn't even qualify that as Democrats. They all do this. All of them. Well, I'm here for the people. Well, I'm going to forgive debt. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. If you elect me, you're electing for progress, and all that bullshit. Bullshit, man. Okay? If she was going to do something, she would have been doing it. She's been in office for almost 4 years now. What has she done? Name something that she has done other than sucking on the tit of the American public. Seriously, I'm asking you to think for just a minute. What has that woman done? Name a single thing that she's accomplished besides sucking on society's tit and getting fat. Okay? And please don't vote for her just because she's a woman. I mean, if a woman came along that was a go-getter and, there was some kind of record that she's participating and, doing something that isn't evil like Hillary Clinton. Gosh, all you have to do is say something bad about her. Next thing you know, you're dead, That's not a track record. Well, I mean, it is a track record, but it's not the good kind. Okay? And with that said, I'm not a Trumpster. I think Trump is an asshole, okay? I think he's a loudmouth, know-it-all jerk-off that thinks his shit doesn't stink, okay? I mean, think about it. He's a rich playboy. He's got more money than we could probably count. And he did it through business, not through getting kickbacks from corporations and shit like that. Although that may not be entirely true. I don't know how it all works in the business world. But the thing is, he didn't get it by being in public service. So, and if I know that you're told to hate him, and that's fine, whatever. Like I said, I'm not a fan of his, but I do recognize somebody that knows how to get in there and get something done. And yeah, he brags on himself and everything else. So what? If he does, I think about it, when he came into office in 2016, the stock market flourished. Fuel prices came down. It just became a better place. And I don't know how somebody can possibly turn that around and go, oh, well, that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You know, he got us out of NAFTA. All of a sudden, the interest rates were down, which made it easier to buy homes. Employment figures, the unemployment rates went plummeled, went down big time. And it's like, are we going to complain about that? Or are we going to say, oh, well, see, he's a terrible person because the unemployment rate went down? If somebody else did that, we'd be raving about it. But the reason we don't is because you're told not to. You're told to hate him, and you don't even know why you hate him. Okay? But I can tell you this. As full of shit as he is, that man made it better. And if we give him a chance, he'll make it better again. Okay? There'll be more jobs. There'll be lower prices. There'll be less taxes. You know, there'll be more freedom. And I mean, I can't make you believe. All I can do is point things out. So if you're going to be a part of this stuff, if you're going to look forward into the future and say, you know, hallelujah, I'm proud to be an American, you're going to have to do proactive things to bring that about. That's what I'm saying. So, thank you for your time. If you've hung out till the end, hallelujah, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And please, use some common sense when you vote, okay? Because you're not just voting for yourself, you're voting for those around you. You're voting for your family, your friends, your neighbors, the people in your city, in your county, in your state, in your country, okay? So what I'm saying is stop thinking about yourself for a couple minutes and think about people around you. Think about those that you're affecting if you're irresponsible. Anyway, this is Jeff with WickedOil.com signing off. Have a wonderful day. Bye.